Hello everyone, welcome to SpeedGaming 3. Today we have another Link to the Past Randomizer League match. Lost Woods Division. I'm Star, and with me on commentary is Talon. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Star? Doing really well. Ready for another great race here in the league.
We've got ourselves a faux AD key seed, Fat Keys for short. Do you want to talk about what that mode is?
Sure, yeah. Fad Keys is a Keysanity mode where the goal is all dungeons. So we need to beat AGA 1 and complete all dungeons, including GT before Ganon can be damaged. We've mixed it up a little bit to streamline it, so the Castle Tower keys to get to AGA 1 are in Castle Tower. So we won't be looking for those annoying objects this race.
Just to make it a little bit nicer, because those can be some of the trolliest in typical Keysanity to track down those two. Yeah, we've got ourselves. I like Big Boots at 2 wins so far. Won both of their games last week, I think, pointing them at 6 points. CrossWords Keysanity has yet to win a match, so was hoping to get one. Her piece in the Sanctuary and a Fire Rod in Link's house are checks. Got ourselves a regular old Link sprite on GGW side and a Squirtle here on Paradox. I actually recognize both sprites for once. Not common.
Yeah, the people who have made the sprites have given us such a large collection that it's really easy to not recognize some of the newer ones.
Yeah, and that is, in fact, I'm pretty sure the actual regular Link sprite and not one of the many, many variants. He is wearing clothes. He's wearing his regular clothes. And I don't think it's Bobblehead Link either, as we see a cape in the Lost Woods. And a small key to Turtle Rock as in the Uncle chest. That's our first of 4. I'll be writing down all the key locations that I can manage to keep track of so we know where they went and what kind of logic we might have behind them. Nice flippers in the Lost Woods to go with that cape. And GGW is such a safe quit.
Yeah, good utility in the beginning, especially having that cape can provide some interesting strats early with low hearts, and then flippers is always nice to get out of the way.
Oh yeah. GGW is coming from the south, perhaps looking for a bit of money or some bombs, since they have none of either. They has neither of those things. Paradox managed to find some bombs in the front of on the Uncle, I believe, so it has less of an issue with that. But no bombs and no money to buy them is not great for CAC. But there's one bomb off the grass, which in a second, so that'll be good enough. Flippers for Paradox. And we've got another small key on the race game. Paradox is going to head straight into Kakariko, starting with blinds. We're going to have a lot of checks available here. Small key to Pod there. A big key to GT is a nice early find in Blindsa, as well as the big key to Thieves, also very much required, and a mushroom to go with it. Not bad.
Yeah, mushroom, especially early, can sometimes give a sign that there's something there. I know there's always the chance to keep it if you want to try to fake it with the powder, but I'm one of those that as soon as I see it, I want to turn it in pretty quick.
Pod small key especially good because you need a minimum of 4 to full clear the dungeon. All 6 are logically required to complete it, so it's good to see one early. As we see just a heart piece in the back of the bar. Well has 20 bucks. I do not have bottle vendor money just yet, which is concerning, potentially. Small key to TR, number 2 already. Okay. Map to Ms. Meyer. Money and some more money. Should be able to get 5 more rupees for the bottle vendor here.
Yeah, bottle vendor is one of those you definitely don't want to leave behind if you can avoid it, because it's easily forgotten in a trek to go get just to waste money if it's nothing.
Yep. The post runner is going to check out Chicken Hut, almost in sync here, finding a map to Skull Woods. Maps not the most useful in Keysanity in old dungeons, since you're beating all of them anyway. But nice to have. And actually, Paradox will not have enough money for his bottle vendor because he needs more bombs. So, oh boy. So at 55 rupees for, and I don't think Paradox feels like grinding up 50 bucks, 30 bucks at a time in blind set for one check at this stage of the game. TR there for TGW is our second of the seed. And I actually missed what the library was earlier, so we'll get another look at this from Paradox. Okay, 10 arrows. Nothing to worry about there today. So just runners overlapping each other a bit. Paradox is just gonna go do the race game directly. A pretty good choice in full Keysanity in all dungeons, since you also go there's some kind of key on here. Which there is. GGW getting everything here on the blind set. And then I think it's gonna be South Shore into the water checks for our 2 runners. By the way, thanks, man, for shouting out to our 2 runners, GGW and Paradox, to my co-com Taylor, and to our tracker, Jinxie Girl.
Yeah, pretty common start between both runners. A very straightforward and linear beginning, which is kind of how these usually run. I'm sure there'll be something that'll split them up soon.
Yeah, heart container off of bottle vendor will not hurt Paradox, which is good. Paradox is immediately saved, so safe going to Link's house and is immediately going to go check that mushroom. So if this is nothing, he will be able to save scum it, just in case Magic Bat ends up being useful.
Yeah, this goes to what I was saying earlier. It's one of those things that I like just knocking out quick. Don't let that linger.
Especially because you have the flippers, you can just take the portal on over here anyway. And 10 arrows, so that is a hard reset for
that's
Paradox.
a scum.
Paradox also not missing anything off Bottle Vendor, which is good because he did not have the money there in CAC. Let's see what's on South Shore, because we still have some overall checks left. We have 2 checks in the dam, 5 in Mini Moldorm, 1 on Ice Rod Cave, Hobo, Waterfall Ferry, Zora Ledge, and Zora, as well as some checks in the eastern area. Then we don't have a Lamp, Bow, or the Eastern Big Key.
Yeah, with money not being very plentiful to start, I could see Zora kind of getting pushed off with GGW going to the eastern area. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, very much on Zora. I commentated a league match yesterday where both runners had to grind up a couple hundred rupees off of Blind's Hut to go purchase boots off Zora because that was the only check they had left in the game. It was slow. Vanilla East Green Pendant here today.
Yeah, very original.
Single arrow, blue mail, and 300 bucks is nice.
All right, 300's getting you in the right direction at least. Without the glove, being able to farm some of those rock spots for rupees is not going to be a thing yet.
Nope, and that puts him in more comfortable range of being able to do so because, as everyone who was watching yesterday's race found out, it's very long, very slow, and it's very long and very painful to grind up money off Blind's Hut. One runner had to grind up about 250 rupees, the other 180. It's like 300 bucks a pop. It takes a while. Lamp in Mini Wildern Cave, Moon Pearl to go with it, and Heart Piece. Oh goodness, that's a hookshot on the lake
That's a
island.
hook on the island. Oof. I feel like that island's been holding a lot of good stuff lately. I've seen a few bows sitting on that island.
Yeah, it does seem like it loves to have stuff. Time for Hobo for GGW as Paradox heads on off to Ice Round Cave. Hobo giving us the big key to Eastern.
Oh,
Very
okay.
nice.
Eastern's looking better and better.
Just need a bow to clear it now, since we did find that lamp to put the whole thing in logic.
Yeah, lamp is one of those items, especially in all dungeons where you know you're going to have to do things like mire in the TR maze, that having that lamp early really can put you at ease for some of those harder dungeon rooms.
Yep. Just a shield in Ice Round Cave, so it will be the water checks for Paradox. So far, though, our items not leading to a great deal more checks. We can do some of the front of Escape, but without the Hyrule Castle's small key or a glove, we can't actually do the back of Escape or Dark Cross. Or Zelda Cells. There's a couple checks in Escape. We've got Eastern, Mirror and Ice Rod, and Waterfall Fairy is nice. No Ice Rod
Nice
time
water.
today.
Yeah, nice waterfall fairy. That's good stuff to have early. The mirror's another one of those items that just speeds things along, especially when you get to the Dark World.
Oh yeah, and we already know there's a hookshot on Lake Island, so as soon as they can find a hammer, they can clear, and a swamp small, they can clear it. Rotor beyond Zora Ledge.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Knowing that the hookshot's on the island and having that mirror already, that's as soon as you get to the Dark World, you know that's going to be something you're going to beeline for.
Yeah, although the issue is they don't have that swamp small yet. It is not a. It is a difficult choice to choose to go into the first chest of swamp without a swamp small, because it's one check, and the odds of it locking your swamp small are not best. Until it is, of course. The seed I commented yesterday had Thieves Town small key in the first chest of Swamp, which locked the Swamp Small in the big chest of Thieves.
That is
one
gross.
runner. It was gross. One runner checked Swamp it just after Hype Cave, so had the Swamp Small pretty early. The other runner near about last location did.
Yeah, I think if you get a hammer and you can get to Hype Cave early, that's a good dip, because, again, you're just going to zip over, or you're going to get the hookshot and then zip in. But even without the hammer, if you can get down there, I think it's a worthy check, even if you just save and quit out. But the hookshot also gives you access to East Death Mountain, so in and of itself, beelining for the hookshot seems to be like a good call.
Yeah. The issue is they don't actually have Dark World access yet. They have no gloves, no hammer. Although we have a bug, we have a cape, we have a lamp.
Yeah, I was
if
just.
we find a bug net, we're in for some fun.
Oh, please, let's do it. Let's do Bugnet Aga. Please give me that today.
I kind of want to see it. Yeah, that would be fun. And I seem to have a special talent for attracting truly ridiculous seeds on ALTTPR comms. Aga Bugnet would not be out of the ordinary for the kind of stuff I get.
No, I'm
Hey,
here for that. Let's do it.
It's only the sword, if not swordless, true meter effort. Right, that. Sword and Bugnet would get us Aga access, which is just blah. Paradox is going into Eastern now. This makes a bunch of sense. There's much else left to do, really. It's this and Nagina. GGW's not behind, really, Fear. They're just doing checks in different orders right now. Fear, GGW went to Saha's hut before going to South Shore, so is going to have to come back for Eastern, since he didn't do Eastern when he was here earlier. Yeah. Also, I'm not sure, I don't believe he can save Scumnet Mushrooms, so, or he's choosing not to, so that's what we'll keep in mind later. Because, yeah, Paradox safe quit from race game. Immediately check the shroom and then hard reset to get his shroom back for fake powder. GGW checked the shroom as part of his South Shore checks, so is unable to safe scum it. If powder ends up being somewhere a bit stupid and that fake powder becomes a good thing for Paradox, that's going to be something to keep in mind for later. For 2 maps in the first 2 checks of Eastern is not helpful.
Yeah, GDW decided to go over to the desert area and probably looking into Gina and maybe checking the desert ledge. It's an interesting divergence. We'll see if it pays off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against this play. Eastern has the density as far as checks right now, but I mean, you knock this one out of the way.
Yeah. Alright, Compass Chest of Eastern is a small key to thieves, alright. We don't have to backtrack for it, potentially, assuming we can find a hammer before we find thieves, that is. And
No.
there's our first word. And Nagina, did we mention Bugna Aga earlier?
So let me ask you, Star, what do you do right now? Do you go check Eastern for the 5 checks, or do you just go knock Aga out?
So yeah, I'd probably just go Aga at this point. Well, you might want to do the escape first. There are some checks here. Although that itself is complicated without the sewers key. Okay, with her you have to go Aga, that makes sense, true. Let's see. Rain. Nope, GGW is going to do the escape first. Aga would have also made sense just because this is AD, so you will need to do Aga at some point.
Well, with the mirror jumping back out of the end of escape is not hard. This is a good play. I like this.
Yeah, that's true. We'll likely go Aga right after this. There are a couple checks available here. That is a mapped pond of limited use. Eastern Big Key Chest is the Big Key of Meyer. Okay.
Paradox made me a little nervous with going for that button. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because once you do Aga, you can get the hookshot off the Lake Island, which will get you over to West Dark World. It looks like Paradox is going to head in the same direction. There's not really much else to do anyway, although Paradox is missing that sword off of Gina, so we'll not be able to do Aga right now. Heart Container is our last in logic check here. Because Zelda Cell is logically locked behind the sewers key because you can steal the key there and take it off to Dark Cross instead. And GGW is going to get some time back on Paradox here because it looks like it looks like Aga's are only actually in logic play since this is not in logic, although that's nice to know.
Yeah, there'll be no stealing the key now. That bow's too good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but to keep in mind, they can do a fair couple checks in pod. They do have 1 key, and there is that bow available, so they can do a fair few checks in there. So there's a very limited amount available in logic, especially because the bow's out of logic behind the sewers key. Dark Cross, just some bombs, and he can't go to the back. So it's just going to climb up to Aga. So GGW is now in the lead since he did go with Gina, and Paradox has not. And they've run out of in-logic things to do besides Aga.
Yeah, even just being on Fighter Sword, a couple shots with the Fire Rod will help move this along a little bit, so I think he's going to be just fine getting through this.
Ooh, interesting choice from Paradox here. He is stealing that key like we discussed earlier. And is taking it to the back. We'll be skipping his bow for now.
Ooh, that could be interesting. Large magic drop for GGW is going to help a lot in the next couple of rooms.
Why did Paradox steal skip Zelda's cell? He is taking the small key and going to the back. So they do not have the Hyrule Castle small key, and they do not have a glove. So that small key, stealing that small key allows him to go to the back of Escape and check the 3 chests there. It's 3 chests versus 1 is the play that Paradox is making. Mind you, we don't know where the other bow is, so how much this may or may not hurt Paradox depends, and this is entirely out of logic as well.
Yeah, that's a good point with the progressive bows. He could find the other one and never need to go to Zelda Cell and get bailed out. It's just when that could occur, who knows.
And we don't, yeah, and if the second bow is available is a whole nother story, because it could be in Ganon's Tower, it could be in the Green Pendant, could be someplace else.
Yeah,
Could be in Helm's Door.
Yeah, a bow-locked bow is not uncommon.
No. We've seen everything but Armos in Eastern Vortex. There wasn't much. Other than the Meyer Big Key. There's a glove in the back of Escape! Oh my... Wow!
Oh, wow.
That is interesting.
That could lead to a long rabbit hole to go down, because now the mountain's open.
Yes, it is. This is a very interesting play. So each of the runners is choosing to do something different with that Hyrule Castle's that key. GGW getting a bow out of Zelda's cell, Paradox getting a glove out of the back. Both major items, both important to beating the seed. It's gonna be interesting to see what the end result of this decision is.
We were talking in the beginning how it seemed really linear, and we were hoping for some divergence. We got it.
Yeah, indeed. And to note, both of those are locked behind the Hyrule Castle small key right now, or midst in the case of the glove, or logical. I think that's a red rupee on Lumberjack Ledge.
Yeah, that looked like a red rupee.
Alright, I'm not lying. Good, because I'm notoriously terrible at identifying that item. Man, the Hyrule Castle small key needs to be available somewhere, it might appear, considering the glove and bow are currently both locked behind it. I would not be surprised if it's just sitting on the pyramid ledge or something ridiculous.
This could get really crazy if, like, the mitts were on Old Man.
Oh, that would get me. That would be amazing, actually. Also very stupid. Alright, angle 1 is down for GGW.
Yeah, great fight.
I did not count blue balls, but I don't think there were many. That's a heart container on Pyramid Ledge. Still pretty early in the seed, might as well just pick it up. And that's just a bloopy on the Old Man for Paradox.
Yeah, Old Man just giving you a small tip for helping him across the street.
And that was 0 blue balls, that's what I thought. Thank you, under Luke type. GGW is heading over to Pod. We'll route that in with completing Eastern. Also going to pick up the hook shot.
Yep, great call here just to jump in and swim, and you can swim right back if you want.
Yep, I think he probably will. I'm not actually sure which one's faster to safe quit or just to walk. Heart piece on. Nothing on and in Spectacle Rock. Yeah, just 2 heart pieces. Hyrule Castle smaller than the shooter room would be funny, Flipfield. Just for the extra fun logic. I do wonder where it is, because that's currently giving us a fun day with logic. There's the hookshot for GGW.
I gotta think that Hyrule Castle key has gotta be pretty early. It's blocking a lot.
Yeah, it really is. Here's a question, too, for Paradox. When is he getting that sword off of Gina? Because he needs it, logically, at least to beat Aga at this point. Here's a small key in Hera. It is the Nice Palace key. Alright, not the most useful key in the world.
Yeah, it's not going to get you far as opening the dungeon, but it does make it a little easier to route, so we'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just a compass. Paradox is not getting any further here, does not have a hammer, does not have a hookshot. He is done with Hera. And for the mountain for now.
It's probably for the best. That rabbit hole could have kept going pretty deep. I mean, it could have got really ridiculous.
Oh, it could. Where is he going right now? Because, that is... he might be going Zora at this point, actually. He has the money for it now.
I didn't know if it was that or maybe topping off bombs, but I think you got it right.
Yeah.
GDW going to go in the shooter room and check pod out for a little bit.
Yep. Can get 3... Well, one... This is the only in-logic check here, is $50. We have... Well, I think... Well, okay, we have 1 key, so the Stalfos basement and the bridge chest should both be in as well. And he is opening the front door. Interesting. Because the issue is this limits what he can do in the dungeon. Like, if he'd gone right side, he could have gone to the back with his only small key, but as it is, he's locking himself out of the back.
No, without hammer, he couldn't get
Oh, he
past
has to,
the right side. So, I mean, if there would have been a
Never mind.
hammer back there, then yes, you're right. But yeah, I think in this one, knowing that he's out of logic with the bow, that this was still the right play. Just open it and get what you can and then keep going. Big key of desert in the Stalfos basement. Definitely need that.
Yep, and thank you for reminding me. I am mixing up seeds a bit. And I think Paradox is going to save scum that Zora money. He is going to save that for Pod, it looks like. Smart choice.
Yeah, great choice.
I approve. Right side here for GGW is entirely not in logic. I am not sure where Paradox is going right now.
Is this to the bottom ender?
Might be right. Small key to Skullwoods on pod right side. And the Bloomerang, okay.
Okay, so nothing in pod.
Nope, didn't expect much considering we've got like next to nothing in logic there.
Oh,
and
I was...
GGW...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering, like, where else do you go? And then I'm like, oh, that they got the hook, so with the hook and flippers, they can get to the west side of the world, so he's okay.
Yep, they're fine. Yeah, Desert Pig is a nice find. We'll need that eventually. Certainly can't use it, but that will be required eventually. And this is an Agina play for Paradox.
It's good for him, gets him going back the right direction. That glove will help. I mean, the bow's unfortunate, but without anything really being locked to the right side of pod, not missing anything yet.
Yeah, Skullwood small key is nice to have, but really about the least important thing he could have found on the right side as far as small keys go.
GGW getting to do a one dip of Eastern and Keysanity. That's a nice little benefit to have.
Yeah, he, by the way, actually found a vanilla Eastern map earlier. I missed that on Paradox's side earlier. And there's a sort of Paradox, who is probably a little cranky at this point that he didn't have that earlier, but on the other hand, well, I mean, that's the biggest divergence between our two runners so far, really, at this point, is that choice of how to use that Hyrule Castle key, and we'll see which one matters more in the end, because currently it's too early to say which one works out better. It might turn out that both pay off.
Yeah, right. Something in Randomizer that I've learned is once you've made a choice to do something, you follow that choice. If you get halfway through it and decide to go back, you're only wasting time. So Paradox, when he made the choice to steal the key and do the back with the glove, made the right decision of, all right, I'm going to follow this glove as far as I can take it. And he opened up the mountain. GGW is going to have to do that eventually. He got into Hera. GGW is going to have to do that. So yeah, it may look like he's behind now with a late sword, but we'll see where that gets him in the future.
Because a lot of this ultimately hinges on the locations of the Hyrule Castle small key, the other bow, and mitts, as to what the end result of their respective plays in Hyrule Castle are. Because the backup escape didn't actually have much of anything else, but and bow so far has not locked anything. I mean, we'll have to see what Armos Knights has here is going to be a big check for GGW. Armos Knights and also Saha, because this is a vanilla green pendant. If either of these two checks has the other glove, that will be good for GGW, who can just use the glove to get to the back of escape.
Another convenient large magic drop. This time for Paradox is really going to pay off as it climbs the tower. GTW is still short on money. I thought maybe would dip into that side room in the back of Eastern for $90, but not this time.
Nope. I think there was some money in the back of Escape from Paradox. Is where the extra money mostly came from. And this is our first dungeon of the siege here, just under 30 minutes. First boss. First dungeon clear. Second counting Egg Tower, technically. And that's a big key to Hera! Okay.
Alright, that's excellent. Once he finds his glove or flute, he can go up there and smash through that pretty quick. Great quick kill on the Armos Knights.
Yep. And let's see what Saha gives us as well. Paradox being given a bit of a runaround there, but gets through. And nothing on Saha, so that's so far okay for Paradox to not have that bow. We don't know what will be on Noldorn with a Hera big chest, and GGW currently can't get there anyway, so we'll see.
GGW making the right choice to go back into the Dark World before saving and quitting, so he appears on the pyramid and can just walk up here to crossover or go check. Or no, he can't do Catfish. Never mind, sorry.
Nope, we can't.
Oh, there you remembered. No glove, no hammer. Gotta do this a long way.
Yep.
I've been a victim of that numerous times.
Indeed, I tend to forget that this is how you do it with flippers and hookshot. Long way it is. Yeah, you need a glove or boots to actually do Catfish from here, so that is not available right now. Now going down for Paradox. UGW is going to get Graveyard Ledge here.
Yeah, nice to knock this out of the way, check out on the way. That's one nice thing of routing from this direction.
Yeah, I mean, you're being forced by the sea to go through here anyway. If you skip it, well, that's a bit on you. That's the blue beat, though. Paradox couldn't find his, I think it was $50 in the first check of pod, and immediately leave, because he does not have that bow. Also going to, I think this, where is he going?
Get that hook shot.
Okay, just some different routing around the map. Yeah, it took me a second. Oops.
Yeah, swimming or walking. Swimming being not the most graceful technique in this game. Walking makes me feel better.
It's nice that flippers were early, because otherwise they'd be posing the interesting question of why can't a Squirtle swim? Since Squirtle are water types, and, well, turtles. It is funny in that, I mean, it makes sense from a game balancing perspective, but it is funny when ALTTPR sprites, because they retain the same abilities as Vanilla Link, don't have abilities that you would think they'd have, so aquatic sprites like Squirtle cannot swim until you get flippers.
Yeah, sometimes it just feels awkward and wrong.
And Paradox can actually take doesn't have to go around the long way, and can get Catfish here as GGW heads into Skull Woods and gets the Cane of Burnout.
Yeah, the blind beat stick, as it will help in that fight.
And nice Master Sword. Lovely.
Love that Master Sword right there. GDW, when he was going up to check Bumper Cave, had the mirror. I thought maybe he was going to try just to wrap the mountain in before doing this, but I think either check is just fine.
GGW is getting up the mountain. How?
Oh yeah, never mind.
$300 there as well.
Mirroring, yeah. Well, you know.
And Catfish gives us Desert Small, so we can full clear potentially, or at least see everything in it once we get there. Don't have boots yet. GGW doesn't have a timer because his is a bit desynced from Paradox's, so we just aren't showing it for the moment, Zambi. And Desert Small could be important for Paradox later, since Catfish is a bit of an isolated check at the moment for GGW.
Yeah, if anything is hiding on that right side, that small key could mean a lot.
Because with this being AD, you are not stealing the key from the back, most likely. Just in case, you know, the small key is someplace ridiculous and you get stuck out of landmos for a bit. That but thieves. GGW has done flipper stuff, because he has the mirror and ice rod out of Waterfall Fairy. He didn't do Zora because he didn't have money at the time, but Zora was 10 arrows.
Yeah, a scam. What a surprise.
Yeah, as usual. Until you have to grind 250 rupees in Blind's Hut to get him.
Nothing's on Zora until something is on Zora.
Yeah. And when it is, it's a pain in the rear to get. GGW, I think, will get the big key chest on his way back. Yeah. Because he did skip heading to the back of Skullwoods earlier, a moment ago.
Yeah, that Master Sword pickup's going to be nice for this fight. Without Hammer, or Moth can be really annoying.
Doesn't have a lot of magic either for Fire Rod shots, so that Master Sword very much appreciated.
I'm not going to lie, I hate this fight. I hate it so much. 20 hearts and gold sword, I'd still be angry at this fight.
And it's not an easy fight. Moth is also not being the nicest here to GGW. I was gonna say,
Nice pause.
Who is pause buffering to avoid getting hit.
Moth is one of those fights that the longer it goes, the much more difficult it gets. It gets aggressive in that room.
Gets hit by a spike. And Moth. Yeah, Paradox is hitting straight to the back without that Master Sword, so it's gonna have even more fun than Paradox in this Moth.
Oh, and Moth just hovering up by the spikes is giving GGW no chance to go get him.
No. Because Moth is immune to the spikes, obviously, so when Moth is on the spikes, you can't actually hurt Moth. Nor pause buffering!
No, it's tense.
Nice dodge from GGW. That was
Ooh, yeah,
easy one.
good job. No, there was nice. That was a really good fight.
That was a really good fight. And a heart container, vanilla. He'll take that after that, Russ.
I will take that heart container after that fight. Yes, please.
And let's see how Paradox will do on Moth with a fighter sword. Flare. This is gonna kind of suck. Paradox will not be thrilled to see the Master Sword after fighting Fighter Sword Greenmail Moth on 7 hearts.
He does have blue mail for what that's worth, but it gets
Oh,
spikes, not much.
No, unfortunately. Yeah, blue mail. So I have blue mail, 7 hearts, Fighter Sword Moth is gonna suck. Now we're gonna see the big key chest from GGW, who skipped it on his way through earlier. Paradox gets some nice fire rod shots off, and now it's time to spin.
Just bombs in the big key chest.
Not the worst patterns of spikes for Paradox. Managing to dodge fairly okay, gets another hit in and another. Okay.
Yeah, Moth's not being terrible, hiding in the spikes a little bit, but nice.
Hey! I think that was actually faster than GGW's just because he didn't have to pause buffer the dodges nearly as much.
Yeah, that
Well
was
done.
really clean.
Very nice fight. Nice boots. And the Sea House there for GGW.
Yeah, we'll take 40 minutes boot. That's fine with us.
Yeah, better 40 minutes than 2 hours. And GGW is going to immediately run off the King's Stupid Bog Rocks and then come back to Thieves, I guess. Huh. Just got the boots and immediately got out of there.
Well, I'm not against following, what the progression that you find, and there's a better time to go north than now.
That's true, and that's a small key to TR. That is number 3, so that is they can now beat TR as long as they don't open the door to the lava chest.
Yeah, especially if coming up here, if King's Tomb has your Thieves Town big, then you're really going to regret not coming here first.
Well,
So
in this case, they've
I
had
understand
the Thieves big for about half an hour. It was in fine time. Might want a hammer though to make Thieves to have to not worry about the Thieves Town big chest, because that can definitely trip people. Rockrock's just a hurt piece. Oh, and actually, right, Paradox does not have a Skullwood small key, so if he dropped down, he would be unable to get back out without save quitting, and it is a really long walk back here right now, so he's gonna leave his Master Sword behind for the moment. Boots incoming for him as GGW checks Lumberjack. Half magic there for in the brewery is a nice find.
Yeah, probably one of the better luxury items you could hope for. It really can make a lot of things easier, from the Ganon fight to Moth. Not that that's an issue now.
Yeah, big key to ice in the chest game. Not the most required of big keys, but at least you don't have to worry about the big chest.
Yeah, the ice big is a lot like the swan big. It's one of those that you really want before you have to dip it. So, because getting through the dungeon just to find it later always going to nag the back of your mind that what could be there.
So GGW is going to head into Thieves Town now. There are a load of chucks in here, and there's a hammer. Thanks, game. In the front of Thieves Town, so don't need to worry about that big chest. Good placed.
Thanks, game.
Right, and there's the other glove. Of course. Of course.
Yeah, that is very good for GGW.
Yeah, logical bits in the back of Escape then, and that small key to Cairo Castle can be in a bunch of different places, I think, then, because that bow's not left anything. Yeah, that bow's gotten a lot spicier for Paradox. Because Paradox's glove advantage just got completely killed there with the other glove turning up in Thieves. GGW can just get to the back of Escape by using the glove. The back of Escape what will now be mitts for him by using that glove he just got out of Thieves. Doesn't have to worry about it anymore. I don't know. We don't know where the other bow is. We don't know where the Hyrule Castle's small key is, because Paradox will need one or the other at this point. He needs a bow at some point to beat the seed, and he can't get the one in Escape right now. Also heading into Thieves now, getting his hammer. And funny, there's a French vanilla glove to know in Thieves. Yeah, a glove on bow on Smith Chain would be good for Paradox, because Paradox can do that. Also, Paradox did in fact save scum his shroom earlier, so he will eventually be able to do fake powder. Doesn't have the key yet for that though.
Yeah, the other bow on Smith Chain for Paradox would be about the most ideal situation right now. That would balance both of them out pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Because Paradox needs to find the Hyrule Castle small key or the other bow, and preferably the other bow, because Zelda Cell is not exactly high on his to-do list ever. It's one check that's kind of slow and pretty isolated at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. Even if you found the Hyrule Castle key, I would think that checks pretty far down the list of things you want to do.
Yeah, it really is. It's one thing. It's slow. You have to walk through all of Escape. It's just not fun. Remembering in the Thieves' big chest.
It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You've made a choice, now you're going to follow that choice to the end. So going back for Zelda Cell is just giving back time if there was nothing there. We know there's something there, but...
Mm-hmm. We're currently on missing a boatload of keys is one of our problems, honestly. We're missing a boatload of keys. We're missing medallions. We're missing a Cane of Samaria. We're a good ways from go mode right now, still.
Oh yeah, it's still early.
We're missing both the pod and TR big keys, hard required to beat a seed. We're also missing, let's see, we need a swamp small. We would, well, let's see, we aren't missing too many keys. Hard required, but at least logically we'd like some more. GGW needs a second pod small key to reach Helmasaur, since he opened the front door. Now, if Paradox can find a bow, he might be able to avoid that, but we'll have to see on that front. And that's wind down for GGW. I think just a compass there.
Yeah, 3 dungeons down, 47 minutes in on a Keysanity still feels pretty good.
It does. Big key 2. That's a very good find on Dick Game.
Yep, that's worth the price.
Yep.
And not too many digs, so that's well worth it.
Very much so. That is hard record to beat the seed. You can't get to Helma without it. K45 is next. And that is a small key 2. Alright. Key number 2. That is good. That gets GGW to Helmasaur.
Yeah, that might be enough to send him back. Great blind fight on Paradox side.
GGW might like a third pod key to go to the back to get the checks there, because nice Master's pampered on Stumpy. That's good for Paradox, who has left his Skullwood sword behind for now.
Yeah, that's going to be a sigh of relief for Paradox when he sees it.
Yep. Paradox is going to go to... Oh, he did game into the Smith Chain next.
Star, if you're GGW, do you dip the front of Swamp right here or no?
I might, because you're right here.
I agree, I think I would too.
The cave has... let's see... Junk, flute, heart container, and a small key to Skullwoods. Well, flute's required. The rest of it, not really.
But with the Desert Keys and the Mirror, and eventually potentially the Titans for GGW if he goes and gets them, that flute's worth quite a lot.
Yeah, it is. Worth a... Yeah, because GGW doesn't have mids. Paradox doesn't have the Desert Big Key, because that's in pod. Paradox did not go into pod earlier with no bow and no keys. Didn't really feel like doing that one check, which made sense, honestly. He'll be able to just clear more of it in one trip, and if he can find a bow, might be able to avoid opening the front door and save himself a little bit of headache with keys. We'll have to see. Medicine coming for GGW as we find a small key to pod in Hammer Packs. Alright. Team number 3, we do need 6 of them, all 6 logically, to beat Helmasaur, so good to keep in mind where these ended up. And that's an immediate save quit from GGW. I'm going to go activate that flute, and just a red rupee on Smiths. At this point, our guaranteed Gobo list. Swamp Small, TR Big, and Kane, and the Medallion, or Medallions, plural, for TR and Meyer is our Go mode list. Not too bad, actually, for 50 minutes in.
No, I was just thinking at 50 minutes in, I'm feeling pretty good about that list.
Because we have enough pod keys to do most of it. There are 3, so that is enough to do most everything that's not Harmless Hellway or the Big Key chest, basically, are the 2 things. They can do one or the other, but not both. And whichever, honestly. And they have a 3 TR key, so as long as they do not open that door to that lava chest, they will be fine. Unfortunately, saw a race yesterday. The race I commentated yesterday was decided by a runner opening the TR lava chest door, and finding the replacement took a really long time, unfortunately. Purple chest is giving us 20 more rupees, and this should be IP for Paradox. So that'll send Paradox. Paradox might go to the mayor. There are several checks there, but I cannot finish Desert right now due to a lack of a big key, which is in Pod Stalfos. Paradox does have 3 pod keys and the big key, but does not have a bow. Is his problem there? Paradox is 7 checks here for GGW, turning up 300 bucks and some bombs. There's another Meyer key. Our first, I think, actually. Our first bottle. Rupee and a compass too. Ice. Not the most useful Paradox cave I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was pretty bland. The bottle's nice to have. It does open up Sick Kid, and again, we're talking about safeties. It's a nice one to have, but yeah. Overall, with 7 checks, you're hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah, and the Meyer Small is good to have, but not the greatest. Like, you'd rather have the Swamp Small, I think, over that Meyer Small. Super Bunny now. Paradox activates his flute. Big key to TR. Alright, that's one less item off our go mode list, and our first GT small is not particularly helpful. How much is GGW winning by? That's a good question. I also missed the medallion for TR.
It's
Paradox.
Quake.
Thank you. Paradox going back in for his, well, will be his Master Sword now. Tempered Sword now, sorry. I'm gonna feel a little sorry about this, considering he did not get this for a while, but, I mean, it is what it is. Hedgehog Cave. Burning up? A whole bunch of not much beyond the pod key. That is GGW's fourth, so he can do most of the place now because he still did open that front door though. Just hope it's on Lake Island. Yeah, the big thing for GGW today is that he has a bow from Zelda Cell that Paradox is not getting anytime soon. We have no idea where the Hyrule Castle small key is. It could be a whole lot of places right now. The other bow is also missing. Paradox can, however, do Ice Palace. Has the big key, has one small key, hookshot. Yeah, he's fine. No Kane, but I mean, it's progression, you might as well. And Kane does love to show up in Ice Palace.
Yeah, it seems lately like Ice Palace is always holding one thing you have to have, and yeah, you're right, he has the items to knock this out, so it's a good play, I'm fine with this.
Yeah, I'm fine with it as well, honestly. GGW is going to head off to Hera now. There's a small key too. That's our last Skull Woods key. I think that one of the most useless keys Paradox could have possibly found in the first check of ice.
Yeah, I can think of quite a few things you'd rather be in that chest.
Yeah, that you don't want to see the third Skull Woods small key. Just whatever, really. Because it is completely and totally skippable. GGW picking up his that Ice Palace key, our only key so far. None of you especially need Ice Palace keys per se. Or at least not a lot of them. Also does have that Hera big key from Armos Knights, which is bow locked, so we'll see what this is, because this is one of the things that Paradox cannot get to without a bow.
Great Hera Pop by GGW.
Chad is discussing the possibility of a Kane being on Ped. That would be rude. Because we do have two of our pendants so far. One is in Eastern, the other was on Evestown. Our container in the Hera Big Chest is good for Paradox. Map to Hyrule Castle is utterly useless.
Yeah, Kane on Ped would be rude, so we're here for it, basically.
Pretty much. Because we love terrible seeds as chat. Each room of ice is a hurt piece. And here's Moldorm.
Yeah, Ice not really paying out much yet.
No, it had the third Skull Woods key and a shovel.
No, I take it back. Shovel. We're fine. It's shovel. We're good.
And that is a small key to Meyer. Okay, that's not the most important. It's not killer for Paradox, at least there on Moldorm. However, Paradox isn't majorly suffering for not having that bow. It hasn't really led to anything, to be honest, so far. GGW is going to check out Spike Cave right now. Iced tea just has 10 arrows. Three bombs in Spike Cave.
Alright, GGW, where are you off to?
Mire area, makes sense.
I didn't know if he was going to dive back in the pod.
He's gonna be able to do desert here as well, though he does not have his small key from Catfish, so that might become an issue later. That's Ether. And Mire turns out to be our last pendant, so no Ganon pet today.
Boo!
Quake might... No! Quake might be there, though.
Of
well,
course, it's just
speaking of the
sitting there.
cane. Great spot for the cane. Thanks, game!
I mean, yeah, I guess if you just want to give it to him. Paradox dropping into Cold Snare. Tempered Sword with Blue Mail. This shouldn't be too bad.
Nah, he should be fine, especially he has half magic to get some Fire Rod shots off. And that's done, more or less. Yep.
Nice.
Pretty good fight.
Well done. Great fight.
And just a map for his troubles. Thanks, game. Also, happy 1 hour. Ether is game!
Of course it is.
Really? Game?
It's kind of backdoor.
Lovely. So, I guess GG's Stubby's doing Mire.
This game is killing our pet hype.
It really is. But at the hour mark, give these runners a follow, Paradox and GGW. Also follow my co-commentator, Talon, and her tracker, Jinxie Girl. Keeping it behind the scenes and quickly cracking all of these keys. Paradox can also finish Mire here, though does not have either Mire small key we found, actually. Also does not have the Desert Big Key, since that was in Pod. So some more interesting divergences here. Like, a lot of their Dark World routing has been similar, but the little differences is what has resulted in their different inventories. And it's going to be interesting to see what the end result of all those little differences add up to.
Yeah, speaking of which, Flip makes a good shot in the chat that GGW, when he goes into ice, will have the cane for a quick icebreaker. That's going to make a difference time-wise.
It is. A big thing to look at here for Paradox will be the right side of Desert, since he cannot... well, he can't get the big chest, but that was nothing anyway. But these are two checks that GGW will not be getting for a while, considering the Desert small key is on Catfish, which is really not that convenient for Paradox for GGW right now. Pretty alright landmass fight for GGW, who picks up a hurt piece. And that is his 5th dungeon beat here in an hour or 2. Not too bad. Oh, 6, counting at power. Right side desert has some bombs. And a big key to swamp. Okay. Probably not required, but if there's something in the swamp big chest, that could be good for Paradox.
Yeah, speaking of big keys, we're in really good shape when it comes to big keys. That would have been like the big to GT, we'd be having a different discussion, but...
Yeah, we have actually every single big key other than the Skull Woods big key, and they really don't care about that one.
You're hoping not to see that key.
Yeah, because if you do, that means you have to. There's a possibility you might need to run back to Skull Woods. Something neither of them actually wants to do. Speaking of things they don't want to do, JGW's actually not gone back into Mire. He's heading to ice. Cane of Samaria is in Mire's shed, Drosy.
Yeah,
Has it?
it's an interesting choice for GGW. I thought being in that area, you just go knock Meyer out.
That's what I thought. I'm confused why he just left it behind. Huh. Suggestive Meyer is just the compass to GT. Alright, icebreaker time.
There, we got it.
Pod key number 5 in the Meyer Spikes chest.
Paradox has to be screaming for a bow at this point. He is pretty stacked for pod and just doesn't have the bow to finish it.
No. Well, he's only up to he's only at he should be at 4 pod keys now. I'm not sure why for him writing down as 3. That could also not count. Red would be in the compass chest. Oh, you didn't do hammer packs of the 4th? Right. Thanks, Jinx. That's what I was wondering. Because he has 3 pod keys, which should be fine if he can find a bow. Yeah, Paradox is actually quite close to go mode if he can find that one pesky bow. Which is not here. Would have been great if it was. I'm worried. Is that bow even available? Is there another bow available for Paradox? There has to be either another bow or the Hyrule Castle small key available, because the bow GGW has is out of logic. But we don't know. Another bottle is of no use at all.
I'll take a bow on Ped. Why not? That'd be real interesting.
That would be rude for Paradox, is what it would be.
Nah, he would think he's a genius for skipping Zelda, so.
He
Just to
can't
get bailed
get
out?
Ped without the bow. Eastern's a pendant.
Ah. Yeah, if you want to be logical about it, I guess. I swear I've played this game before.
Yeah, you're fine. Heart piece in the map chest. And that's gold tear down for GGW. Who now also has a noticeable lead in dungeons done as well, as that's his 7 to Paradox's 4. Is now bow really paying off? Yeah, Meyer's a snooze for Paradox. He's had a pretty solid amount of nothing in it. And that's just a Grand Rupee on the bridge. And now GGW's back in Meyer. I'm sure I didn't just beat earlier, but there he is. So, our no mode list, Taylet, Quake, and Swamp Small. Where do you think those are?
Well, TR is pretty wide open right now, and there's plenty to do in there, so I feel like that's
No,
the
it
next
isn't.
action.
No, it isn't. We don't have Quake.
Yeah, it's where things can be starting to get pretty limited. It goes back to do you dip that one thing in swamp on what I would consider to still be a small gamble, but
We have, I think, our biggest location right now is pod. We do have five. We have 5 pod keys. Let's see. Race game is in. K45 is in. Hammer Pegs is in. Trickshot Cave should be in. Yeah, it is. And I think the Meyer Spikes chest is out of logic because we don't have enough Meyer keys. We do have 4 in logic pod keys. What was that? Unvitreous.
oh, that's the swamp small.
All right, swamp it is. That's where they're going next.
No, that's about the 3rd time this seed has been like, oh, you have this great question? Here, we'll just take it out.
Yep.
Pedestal K?
Never mind.
Nah. Yeah, Pedestal K? Nah, here it is. Medallion on Pet? Nah, here's Ether. Alright, fine, whatever.
Yep. Funny seed. It's actually not been a terrible seed either. It's just I'm just getting more and more worried about Paradox. Paradox I think really needs a bow to be in swamp at this rate. Let's see, where was the swamp big chest? Big key again. Oh, desert big chest. Paradox wants a bow? I mean, what? Paradox I think might want Quake in the swamp big chest at this point.
Yeah, he's doing the right thing by going to the next most dense area, especially now that he can crack it open with that small, but you've got to be hoping a bow bails him out pretty quick.
He needs one at this point, because even if he finds that Hyrule Castle small, he's not going back there too quickly.
No, I can't imagine so. And for GGW, he's going to get his swamp small here shortly, and he's down to just needing Quake at that point, I think.
Yeah,
GT
he
big.
is. We have the GT big key.
Okay, I'm going to stop trying at this point. Just keep... I have stuff written down, then it's just not right.
Yeah, and actually, we do have 5 pod keys in logic. For some reason, I misread my own note sheet. Right. The GT big key is on the tracker, but it is hard to read. You're fine, Talon. It helps I have a very extensive notes sheet where I've written down every single key and item we found this seed. It's posted in our internal text channel if you want to read it.
Yeah, I think I might start dipping into that.
First chest of swamp, just a heart container. Yeah, the only way I have any or anything is in the Keysanity seed is to write it down, so... Useful. Anyway, second chest of swamp is the Safara. Useless. And we've actually found an impressive amount of stuff. In terms of just items, we're missing, just in terms of keys, we're missing the Hera Small. We're missing our last pod small. We're missing 2 ice smalls, a Meyer small, a TR small, and 3 GT smalls. We're missing a lot of the not so useful small keys. I won't be surprised if there's a couple of GT keys in GT at this point.
Yeah, a lot like the Skull Big we were talking about earlier. That Hera Small is one of those you'd just rather not see at this point.
Pretty much.
GGW in the Vitreous fight, putting the half magic and cape to great use.
Vanilla Compass to Swamp Palace, thanks, game. Really helpful. And just a compass, unfortunately, to thieves in the big chest, so no game for Paradox there. He wanted, I think, Quake or something leading to Quake there because that was his advantage with finding the Desert Big on Catfish. Desert Small on Catfish leading to the Swamp Big on right side, but nope. Nice diver down.
Yep, very well done.
Yeah, since Paradox is still multiple items from Go mode, it's just going to do the left side swamp immediately. GGW might go to the back first, since he is only Quake from Go mode.
Yeah, I like this play for Paradox. I think with as much as you're missing and as badly as you're hoping for a bow, you have to do left side here.
You really do. I think in order, honestly, unfortunately, that bow's just putting Paradox just gradually further and further behind because he has to keep double dipping all the areas without the bow and the couple of items it's led to. So he's gonna end up in like he needs a Quake to be somewhere absolutely terrible.
Hey!
As he does at least finally find his bow in left side swamp. Thanks! Thank
That
you,
has to be a
Ganon.
huge sigh of relief for him, though.
Oh my goodness. I'm happy for Paradox to finally find a bow, because I was getting worried, I'll be honest, that the other bow was in GT and the Carol Castle's was like halfway through TR or something stupid. Yeah, that is a great find for Paradox. He needed that bow at this point. Still several dungeons behind, but he will be able to start catching up on that front now. Alright. Really struggling with the diver down here, unfortunately.
Yeah, I find the one in the back is just a little bit different than the one on the front, and it could be really bad. And then the more and more you do it, the more and more you're like, why can't I get this? Why can't I get this? And it doesn't help.
Yeah.
There
we go. Find the bombs and the powder. Okay, so that save scum of the shroom earlier is not going to matter for Paradox. GGW is expected, heading straight to the back.
Yeah, we know that that's going to be good for him, knowing the Quake's not over there, but I think this is just fine considering you're one from Go.
Yeah. If you're one from Go, you just do the back of Swamp first, since you're doing it no matter what. Left side Swamp is slow, and if it turns out your Go mode item is in the back of Swamp, you just skip left side.
I wouldn't expect they'll go back in if it's not on Argus, but it'll be a choice.
Well, I could see skipping it or going back in at this point, I think. I mean, he is also starting to run low on stuff to do. And there it is.
Never mind.
Alright.
Never mind. Thanks, game. Again.
Yep, thanks, game. So that'll be Go mode, and honestly, GG's or GGW, that just not Paradox's day, apparently.
Yeah, it was every choice that he made was. It just seemed like it was the right one and fell in place. This is going to be lightning fast for an all dungeons.
Oh yeah. Because he's got a swamp here, he just needs to run to Helmasaur, that'll be quick, TR is going to take a bit. And then just run up Jen's tower. Paradox is in dungeon clear mode as well. Let's see, what does he actually need for Go mode? He needs a pod. He needs a desert big. That's on Pod Stalfos, which he should be getting here. He needs the TR big from Super Bunny, which he'll get whenever he goes up the mountain. And he can Harrow Pod. So he should hopefully be okay once he picks up that desert big in pod. He also might want to wait to reclimb the mountain until after he finds the TR big key. Thankfully for him, there's not much left outside the mountain, so he should be up there soon enough.
Yeah, I would think after pod you just go up the mountain because there's plenty to do up there still. The problem is, looking for the TR big, there's a great chance he's going to clear as much as this dungeon if it can. Whereas GGW's like, nope, done, go.
I'm going to run to Helmasaur and get the heck out. Yeah, JJW is winning by a lot this seed because Paradox is quite a bit behind. He's gonna do most of Pod here. He has 4 keys, so he can do pretty much the whole. He can actually do the whole thing, assuming he doesn't open the front door, which he probably won't. I think. Doesn't need to since he has hammer, bow, and mirror. Might choose to do so. It's up to him, really. In any case, though, Paradox can do pretty much all of Pod, but unfortunately, that's just really going to cost him time. He's got to run all the way back through Eastern, which takes a little bit of time to go kill Armos Knights.
That's a great point. I've forgotten he hadn't finished off Eastern yet. That's a great point.
Yeah. He has to run up the mountain to Hera. He needs to go back for Desert, which also takes just a little bit of time to run back there, basically. Again, just little bits of time to add up.
Making a call just to go for Helma.
I mean, not the worst of ideas. He's not, I mean, as mentioned, he's really not that far from go mode. Unfortunately, he has skipped out on Stalfo's basement for the moment, and that's got his Desert Dig in it that he needs. Hopefully he should go back in and find it after Helmasaur. But I think really what the Sis Seed came down to was just that decision of how to use the Hyrule Castle Swanky. We were discussing about how that was going to be interesting which one would work out better. Evidently it was GGW taking that bow. That was what ended up being the better choice of the two this seed.
Right, and in the beginning it wasn't entirely evident because finding that glove out of Logic in the back could have opened up quite a lot, and it just unfortunately didn't. Finding the glove in Thieves Town kind of wiped that out pretty quickly.
Yep. And that bow didn't lock a lot, but it locked just enough to put Paradox in a really unfortunate situation.
Right, and to clear Eastern, but also being able to dip into Pod to get that Desert Big Key early. So when you got there, you could just knock it out. It's the little things that just added up at the end.
Pretty much.
2 great Helma fights by both runners.
GGW getting dead rocked.
Just taking out the rage, do it.
Yeah, he's not happy with that dead rock.
But especially at this point, you're in go mode. You have to assume your opponent is in a similar state of mind, or we normally do in this regard. You think your opponent's god routed at this point. They're right with you. So a dead rock or a Moldorm fall feels like the end of the world.
Yeah, because for all you know, your opponent is right there, and that fall that could cost you the race. Honestly, we have seen races be decided by very small margins. Paradox is checking Big Key chest and should get his Desert Smell after this. Just a heart piece there. We'll not be able to do Harmless Hellway unless he finds a small key in here, because he did open this front door just to make rounding a little faster through the dungeon. Because running to the right side is just kind of slow. Alright, now, GGW, please don't accidentally muscle memory your way into the lava chest. That would be really quite sad.
Oh, yeah, that would be bad.
The race I commentated yesterday was literally decided by one runner muscle memorying that chest. Unfortunately, Talon, it was a sad time. Because turns out that the third key Arsenal is in a really terrible spot. Bottle in the pod back is...
No, the Stalfos being a jerk to GW. Bouncing it back on the track.
Paradox setting up for a hammer jump to check the pod maze.
Couple pause buffers to set the right spot. Bounce over. Oh.
Ooh, does not quite get it. Paradox is looking for the TR Big Key Zero Rush. It is in Super Party Cave, unfortunately. And okay, good. GGW did not accidentally open that door. He is fine. There's a gold sword for Paradox. Okay. Well, I guess we know where it is.
Yay.
That's about all I have to say. Second GT key is a thing. Yeah, it's been an interesting seed though, with all the divergent routing and what it meant for both of them doing this seed. Good race though. Despite all the little things, it just kind of added up in the end for Paradox.
Yeah, it definitely was. It may seem like one big choice kind of was the beginning of everything, but it really was just one thing onto another, just kept adding increments of time that got to the point of, oh no.
Mm-hmm. At least Paradox did find it though. If he had ultimately needed to find the Hyrule Castle small key, which we still have not found, it might be in GT at this point, because Left Side Swamp I'm pretty sure is available without a bow today. If Paradox had needed to find that Hyrule Castle, he would have been in a much worse spot, I think.
Yeah, you'd been pulling your hair out at that point trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah,
and again, I think you had said it earlier too, even if he did find it, going back to Zelda Cell is nothing you're even thinking about.
No, it really isn't. It's an isolated one-off check. You made the gamble at the beginning of the seed. You are not going back until it's the literal last thing left in the game. At which point you'll just take the loss.
Yep.
Like, we thought for a while that Hyrule Castle Small Key would be available early with a bow and glove placement, but nah, the other glove was just sitting in caves. So it all works out for GGW today. He takes down Trinex. And finds the last bottle. Thanks. With that, though, we've actually found almost every single major item this seed. We haven't seen the bug net, the book, or bombos, and that's about it for that. We're missing a handful of mostly useless small keys. There's a Hera big key for Paradox, which he doesn't actually need because he can just Hera pot, so... that's kind of whichever. And at 127.06 there, GTW is starting the cutscene here for GT. New guessing game, since we already have the big key.
Yeah, having everything he needs, he's just going to blitz right past the basement up to the top and run all the way to the end.
Alright, landmost now for Paradox. And then I think he'll head up the mountain after this and hit go mode finally. Unfortunately, it'll be much too late for him.
GGW with that half magic, able to abuse the cape a little bit and get through that room much quicker, and is rewarded with full magic.
Yep. And Landmass 1 is down for Paradox as GGW arrives on Landmass 2. Nice.
Yeah, good Landmass fights on both sides of the screen.
Yeah.
Even after seeing it so many times, it's still satisfying.
Very clean gauntlet overall for GGW.
Very precise. If you're ever looking for a way to improve your game and your overall time, this is what you practice, because you're gonna have to do it no matter what, every seed, barring like fast Ganon, of course. But mopping up Ganon's tower is always a good idea.
Yep. And there's a GT key number 3 on Sick Kid.
Boo.
We'll never know where that Hyrule Castle small key is at this point, but I do wonder. I am curious. Sadly, there is no spoiler log, so we'll never know, most likely, unless Paradox manages to stumble across it on, like, Magic back here, pretty much.
Every time we've said something about this seed, the seed's like, oh, this thing right here? So I expect it to be here.
Yeah, and it's not Moldorm 2 either, because that's a heart piece. And that's a hit.
I thought that was it. I just, like, called it out.
That would have been great if it was. But no, with that left side swamp bow being available, you really could have found that, yeah, you could have pretty much found that. If that Hyrule Castle small key could be just better anywhere. Nice double there for GGW. Another double.
Nah, cheated with the blue ball.
Yep. And that's Akatu down.
Oh, we're gonna be treated with a ped pull, I think.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think that's a ped pull for Paradox. Nothing on ped. Ganondorf saying something or another about geese. And this is a shuffle turn for Paradox.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the shovel.
Honestly, so did I. Just a heart piece, though.
Very well executed. Phase 1 and 2, almost through 3, and then it's time to spin.
Did you find the arrows in Swamp Palace? No, GGW did not. Let's get the torch glitch though, so just spin, spin, and spin. Paradox taking the TR portal now. Going to open up and then go check the other checks in Darkness Mountain, just to see if you can't find that big key before going in, which he will. As GGW finishes up Ganon here.
Yeah, really strong fight.
Very good fight. Going to take first in this seed with a time of 1:34:08. GG's to GGW.
Yeah, get your GGs in chat. That was a great showing.
Yep. Taking his team's third win of the league so far, and will be taking them up to 9 points. Pretty good spot for them so far. Have yet to lose a match. Go mode incoming for Paradox. And hey, Ganon's gone well joining us now. GG's.
GG's, thank you. That was a pretty fast seed, I'll say. I don't know if I've ever had that fast of a time in any kind of 80 keys or fad keys or whatever.
Yeah, that was an impressive time, yeah. An hour 34, very nice.
Yeah. Very impressive time. Great showing.
So what kind of tripped up Paradox? Because I felt like I didn't do anything like too crazy or gambly, so I was kind of just curious what happened.
So what happened ultimately is, well, Hyrule Castle happened to him. So you guys both went there at fairly similar times. You had the sword, he didn't end up wondering all that much, all things considered. The big thing is, you know that small key?
Yeah.
You took it to Zelda Cell and got a bow. Paradox took it to the back.
Oh, and got a glove.
Yeah, so at that point, we had no idea which one was going to be the better choice, or if they would both turn out to be really good choices. But ultimately, the bow just led to this little bit and that little bit, and it just kind of added up to a bunch of time loss over the course of a seed, because Paradox ended up getting his bow out of Left Side Swamp.
Yeah, that's a rough location for the other bow, for sure.
Yeah, and we never saw the sewer. That is our in-logic bow, too, because we never saw the sewers key.
Huh.
No idea where it is. It could be pretty much anywhere, I think, since I don't believe Left Side Swamp was bow locked today.
Yeah.
Could be wrong on that front. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like stealing the key there was just like, you know, you're gonna get a glove at some point. It seemed like a pretty clear Aga seed since I didn't have a glove or a hammer, so I just went ahead and did all the way to Zelda Cell.
Yeah. Shout outs to both glove and hammer being in beef, by the way. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. That was pretty silly.
Yeah, it was. I'd say it was a fairly silly one overall. There were some things that were like, hey, this thing would be nice to have, and the scene is like, oh, here it is. Both Kane and Ether turning up where they did was great too.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then like the yeah, it's just like right there next to Meyer.
Yep.
Chat in the commentary, we're having quite the discussion of, oh, pedestal for Kane. Oh, you mean this? Okay, Ether. Oh, you mean this? Like, all right, game.
We get it. Thanks.
Yeah, if I had went into Meyer, then it would have just been like, okay, here's your small key to Swamp, and then I go to Swamp, and then, oh, here's your medallion, you're in go mode.
Yeah, so among the things that Paradox ended up doing, one of the things interesting that the glove that got him early was the Desert Small Key off Catfish. Was some things they're debating over the differences, whether or not that would matter. It led to the Swamp Big Key, which had some variety or another of uselessness. He full cleared Desert, he full cleared Pod for other than Harmless Hellway for nothing much I can actually remember. A couple of keys or something. Full cleared Swamp. He actually ended up double dipping Skull Woods because he didn't have a small key there, so he had a very nice fighter sword mod actually, but did have to come back for that sword in the front. Also ended up doing Caneless Ice. He did not climb the mountain again until the very end of the seed, which kind of snowballed there as well. So just little things that just added up over time.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
that's
boat did not directly lead to much, but it did get you that desert small from Pod. It got you Hera big off Armos Knights. Just a couple things here, a couple things there, and you just were able to clear things much more efficiently with it.
yeah. You definitely avoid some extra trips.
Yeah, I think that's what ultimately came down. Was the name of the game was efficiency of having that bow and being able to take care of Pod for the desert big, and then clean up Eastern, and then just wrap all these things together at once. Just made it to where you just kept bouncing from dungeon to dungeon to dungeon, and it really just sealed the deal for you.
I see. Yeah, I was debating whether to go over and do Pod in Eastern early, since if I had like one more small key, I could have just full cleared it, or not full cleared it, but I could have like finished it. Or actually, no, I didn't have the hammer. I was debating like just skipping it because I could have just went to the left side of the world, but I got some useful stuff out of there. Mire big and like the desert big.
Mhm. Just overall an interesting seed. I could see why, from Paradox's perspective, just wanting those 3 checks over the 1. Because he, at the time, could do Aga either to keep in mind, since he hadn't gotten the sword off Agina either, was probably part of his decision making, I think. Just
Yeah,
not paying out today. It could have if the seed had gone differently, if the small key, the Silver's key was available early, for instance. And that glove was your only available glove, then that could have changed things quite a lot.
yeah, or if just like catfish ended up being important, then that would have been huge because I wouldn't have gone over there for a while.
Yeah, yeah, a catfish was going to be hard for you to get back to, and even if Paradox ever did find that Castle Small, I don't think he was getting back there anytime fast, unfortunately, either, because it's just that one-off check you're not getting back to quickly.
Yeah,
And overall, not too bad. 138 collection rate, very nice for an AD keys.
well, yeah, that's like probably one of the lowest, if not the lowest collection I've ever had in 80 keys. But a lot of times when you get these like Aga seeds where you just have like nothing going on early, like it ends up being pretty fast because all the items are just like backloaded. So
Yeah. You did end up seeing most of the items in the seed, a couple odds and ends, I think Bamboo's book, along with a variety of small keys. Harrismol ended up being a magic bat, by the way.
well, good thing that wasn't required.
No, one of the little divergences that came up at one point was that Paradox saved scum that shroom and you did not, and we were wondering if that might make a difference, but it did not today.
Yeah, I hate doing the shroom thing. It's just like, I don't know. It pays off and it can win you races, but it just feels like it takes forever.
Yeah, for Paradox, he safe quit from CAC, immediately checked the shroom, and then just hard reset.
I see.
Yeah, unfortunately, just every little thing that, like, all the little divergences that you guys did, yours paid off, Paradox's did not ultimately, and it added
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
It,
that's that goes sometimes.
yeah, that's Rando for you.
GGW.
Gamer,
Sorry.
go ahead, sorry.
I wanted to ask, after Desert, you decided to skip out and go to Ice Palace instead of going back into Mire. Was there a reason for that, or just a feeling?
No, it's because like I was only 2 items for go mode at that point, and generally like Ice Palace is gonna take less time to full clear, like relative to go moding than say Mire. And I was gonna flute anyway because I needed to reset the spooky thing. So I figured let's just do ice because it's a little bit more efficient to do than Mire at this point. Because go moding Mire, you save a lot of time versus full clearing it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, having the the cane to icebreaker ice pause. That's a really good point. It is a much quicker clear.
Yeah, I also chose to do swamp over pod because I felt like there was a high chance that one of the pod keys was going to be in TR, and that meant that there's only a few things that were even in logic at that point, so I just went swamp.
That's a fair point. Yeah, go ahead.
I was probably going to do left side too if the medallion wasn't there, because I don't know, I just like I didn't have a lot of great options that were actually in logic at that point, so I was just like, whatever, go back in.
Yeah, we never did see that 6th pod small, as you mentioned. It's probably sitting in TR. I think we saw just about everything else between you two.
Anyway, I don't know if you guys have any more questions, otherwise I'm probably going to take off.
I'm out of questions. Doesn't look like chat has any. You, Talon?
Nope, good to go. It was a great race, GGW. Well, very well done.
Yep.
GG's.
Yep, thanks, GG's. Thanks for doing comms, and yeah, thanks for everybody that's volunteering.
Yep,
Yeah.
and good luck in the future weeks.
Thanks. I'll see you guys.
Take care.
Yep.
Right, Paradox pushing through the top of GT, had a really good gauntlet as well. Buttersword helping with that.
That's for sure. And I'll be done with the seed in a few minutes as well. In the meantime, as we watch him finish up the seed, let's give these runners a follow. Paradox and Ken's Gunlod giving us a great show on this seed. Shouts also to my co-commentator Talon, who's doing his first ever comms, and to our tracker Jinxie Girl.
Yep, it's been a really good time. I really enjoyed commentating. Thanks to Star for holding my hand through it, and yeah, definitely give her a follow as well. She's very good at what she does.
Thanks. ALTTPR is not my main game, so sometimes I get very lost, especially in modes like Keysanity, but today wasn't too bad. Alright, Boulder 2 is down. Paradox is on the move. And let's see how his econometry is today. Nice double. Another double. And getting trolled by the same blue ball as GGW.
Yeah, that blue ball is not playing nice. Could have just let him have it.
And that's a 2-2-1-1, and time for Ganon.
I think most of us would be pretty happy with a 2-2-1-1.
That's pretty solid. Fairly typical for Eka 2, so 3 cycles, or take a little bit of luck. You have to get really, really lucky to get a 2-cycle Eka 2. They're possible, it takes really stupid RNG.
Yeah, Buttersword making phase 1 and 2 pretty trivial. I'd be very interested to see what Paradox's thoughts was seeing Hyrule Castle as the location of the Silvers.
Oh, that would feel bad. Hopefully I don't know if he'll come in for Nerve. We'll have to see. He might not want to after how this seed went.
I don't know that I blame him.
And that was last spin. GG's here to Paradox, about to also finish up the seed.
A 150 is still a very respectable time for all dungeons.
150.08. To be precise. GG's to Paradox. And there he is, GG.
Hello, GG.
GG's Paradox.
And talk about making all the bad choices. That was. I mean, I thought I did nothing wrong this seed, but when I saw Ganon's finish at 1 hour 34 minutes, I questioned myself, where did I lose so much time? And now that with the bow and everything else, I see now where it went wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. The bow was the difference in this seed.
Well, not only the bow, the sword too. Last location in the sword was really bad. I knew I was behind.
Yeah, so that didn't help. Yeah, the thing with the bows, you both were in Hyrule Castle at this gate at about the same time. GGW had the sword, you did not. He went to Zelda Stone and got the bow. You stole the key and went to the back and got the glove.
Yep.
At that time,
I mean, that makes sense because he has a sword. I don't have a sword. There's a small chance that I need the two checks I had left at the Hyrule small key. So my plan was to go to the back, hope to find a sword there, and go to Aganim. That was my plan, but I kind of, with the gloves, I had to go to the mountain and do all sort of checks, and last location, the sword in the end.
But at that time, Paradox, when you got the glove and Paradox and GGW got the bow, we did not know which one would be the better choice. Like, we didn't, because it could have been that it gave you the lead to find that glove, and the other glove was, someplace really stupid.
It definitely could have. But other than that, there's a small choices that was really bad for me, like going to Ice Palace, then finding the Somaria, which I was kind of mad about that.
Yeah, that things like little things like not missing that sword, bomb jump Ice Palace, you weren't able to do desert first trip, just little things added up.
Yeah. Then the go mode item, which was the Third Rock Big Key. I was kind of glad it was there because the seed wanted me to stay down there, to not go to the mountain until the end. But I don't know if it was good or not. I skipped a good bunch of the mountain.
Yeah, being able to delay the mountain until you did TR and Hera at the end, it always feels good. But back to what you were saying before about not knowing which was the better play. I mean, getting the small key to desert off a catfish. There was a time with the cat in the comms, the chat in the comms. We were like, this could be huge, and then the other glove in Thieves Town were like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was nothing on that swamp big chest behind the swamp big key and right side desert. Like, there's a lot of things that could have changed how this seed would have gone.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. It was. I think the time difference was only the beginning of the seed. I feel like he must have got the boots like 5 or 10 minutes before me.
I don't think it was even that much.
No, it wasn't much. Like a couple minutes.
Okay.
Because he dipped the front of Pod right after going to Dark World. You skipped it, so you guys actually ended up being pretty close. Like, but he was able to get a Skullwood small key off of where was that? Pod Bowlock side, right? So he was able to get the sword from Skullwood's first trip as well, which saved him a bit of time.
Yeah, my Motula one was not really good. Fighter sword without fire rod. It's not with only like 2 fire rod shot was not. It was not optimal.
No, but he did a pretty good job with it. GGW had a really bad time as well. He had Master Sword, but he had a pause buffer most of the fight, I think.
Okay.
So I think your fight might have actually been slightly shorter or about the same. Because he pause buffered so much. You had pretty good Mothula RNG, so you could dodge most of the spikes without buffering.
Yeah.
GGW almost died like 5 different times, probably.
Yeah, we were clinching pretty hard in the booth for that one.
I mean, it's not an easy fight, even with like 5 or 6 arts and blue mail. Sometimes spikes can be in your way and it can go wrong really fast. But yeah, in general, I was pretty happy with my routing and my execution. It's just a matter of choices I made that was wrong, and yeah, it happens. It's rando.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Overall, your execution was really well. It was a very well run race. And you're right. It came down to one decision, but you made that choice and then ran with the advantages that you got. So I feel like you did the right thing, even if the choices didn't work out.
Yep. I mean, 1 hour 34 minutes is an insane time for an ADK Keysanity seed. I feel good about my times. So.
Yeah, no, we did well, Paradox. It just rando gonna rando.
Yep.
GG's. Unfortunately, that does put your team, CrossWords Keysanity at 3 losses out, with 1 match left this week. Hopefully you guys can pull out a win, because not looking too good right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I was hoping to get a win there, but sometimes you're just not lucky. I believe Ace can win this. I believe in my teammates, so we'll see.
Yeah. And good luck in future weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the results of this match puts I like Big Boots up to 9 points now. Unfortunately, you are still sitting at 0. So that currently ties I like Big Boots with the Titan Smiths and the Sexy Ganons at 3 wins each, with 1 match left in this week. And but it is not over yet. We still have several weeks left. We still have 5 weeks left of the. We still have 5 weeks left in the season, so things could turn around still. So good luck to your team and to all the teams in the league for the rest of for future races. See you around some more Paradox.
Well, thank you for commentating, and thanks for SpeedGaming for streaming the races.
So that'll be it for us. Let's shout out again to our two runners, Guns Gone Wild and Paradox, to my co-com Talon, and to our tracker Jinxie Girl. Feel free to check out China Discord and check out the ALTTPR League website and the schedules for future matches and how the standings currently look. Coming up ahead on the tomorrow, so right now over on SpeedGaming 6, we have a match between James FNX and Wallkicks. The Immortals versus New Swagger Jackson, if you want to go check out some more league action. Let's see. Tomorrow we've got a number of matches tomorrow for both the Invitational and Open Leagues if people want to check that out. And the other match for between these two teams this week will be on Sunday at 4:10 p.m. Eastern between Hits. So, if people want to check that out, we can see these two teams face off against each other again then. That'll be it for us tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you next time.